Good evening, and welcome all of you to the July 27th, 6th meeting of the Long Beach Community College Board of Trustees. We're delighted that you're here. It's obviously a very special meeting, a very special night. We have a new trustee, and we will have swearing-in ceremonies in just a few minutes. So first I would like to ask our board secretary to do the Pledge of Allegiance. No, you won't do that. We're going to have our new trustee do the Pledge of Allegiance. Sorry, I was a little out of order. Please stand.
Everyone, please stand. Put your right hand over your heart, if that is your will, and repeat with me. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Secretary, can we have the roll call?
Virginia Baxter.
Here.
Jeff Kellogg. Here. Vivian Malauulu.
Here.
Is that right? Doug Otto.
Here.
And Sunny Zia.
Here.
Okay, great. Agenda item 3.4, report on closed session items. The Board of Trustees in closed session concurred that all written goals and expectations of the superintendent president have been met to their satisfaction, and we're going to have a roll call vote on that issue.
Virginia Baxter.
Aye.
Vivian Malauulu.
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg. Doug Otto.
Aye.
And Sunny Zia.
Aye.
3.5, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the June 28th, 2016 regular meeting of the Board of Trustees.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Baxter, seconded by Trustee Kellogg. Roll call vote, please.
Virginia Baxter.
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg. Vivian Malauulu. Doug Otto.
Aye.
And Sunny Zia.
Aye.
So what we're going to do now is a little different than we ordinarily do. We have a number of elected officials here that I'd like to introduce, but they're not going to make any presentations. They're not going to say anything at this time. Later on, after we do the swearing-ins, they will have an opportunity to do so. So we'd like to welcome Assembly Member Patrick O'Donnell. Daniel Brezinoff, representing Mayor Robert Garcia. LA Port Commissioner Dave Alkion, representing Congresswoman Janice Hahn. Arian, excuse me, misspelled. Felton Williams of the Long Beach Unified District School Board. Former Long Beach Council member Steve Neal. And Artesia Mayor Pro Tem Ali Taj. And Long Beach Port Commissioner Rich Dines. So now what we're going to do is to move to agenda item 3.7, which is the oath of office for me. And I'm pleased to announce that I will be sworn in by Mayor Beverly O'Neill, former Mayor Beverly O'Neill. Where do you want to?
This is the big split.
I'm here this evening to introduce and to induct someone that everybody in the room knows. He's been so active in the community his whole life that and I'm not going to talk a long time with everything he's done, but one thing I don't know if you knew, that he started his career as vice president of his junior high school. No, president of the junior high school, sorry. And anyway, and then he went to Stanford and Columbia, got his law degree, came back to Long Beach as a lawyer, went into historical preservation and things of that nature, and I think every mayor has had him on every committee, that he shows depth of understanding and he shows good planning, and it's just a pleasure to be here. He was with Mayor Wade in strategic planning. He worked with me as a planning commissioner for 8 years, also on the aquarium board. So he has given a lifetime of work for the city of Long Beach. 2004, he became a trustee at the community college. So it's my honor to introduce you to him, however you all know him, and to give him the oath of office. I think they want to. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the state of California
and the state of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of California,
and the Constitution of the state of California.
and that I take this obligation freely
I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation,
or purpose of evasion,
purpose of evasion,
and I will well and faithfully discharge the duty
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
on which I am about to. For supporting me and everybody who's shown up at this meeting. It's touching. It's the symbol of democracy when elections are successfully held, people are elected, the work of government goes on. And so I particularly want to say thank you to people that I know in the audience who worked with me on my campaign, who participated along the way. I tell people that I hate campaigns. I like the governing work. And I'm always glad when campaigns are over, but they are a necessary evil for what we call democracy. And more than anything else, I want to thank my wife. She was not only my campaign manager, but always ready to give me a kick in the butt when I didn't want to do something that I needed to do to get elected. She's my advisor. When we first got married a long time ago, she would say things and I would think, what in the world is she talking about? I don't understand that. And she says, the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life and all that. And after about 10 years, it was like, oh, I never thought about that before. That's pretty interesting. At about 20 years, it was like, you know, she's right. And after 25 and now going on almost 30 years, what do you think about this? Because I know you're going to be smarter than I am about all this. So, especially. This is a good time for California Community College. The governor and the people of the state of California have seen fit to give us a lot of money right after we weren't getting very much money at all, and after a long recession when what we felt was that community colleges were not that important. We began to, during my term on this board, focus not just on access, not just on here's a place where you can go to college, but on success. And the reason for that is that we need the seats for people that are coming up behind, and it's not enough to just go to school. You've got to have an education plan, you've got to know where it is that you're going, and you've got to become a prospering member of this community, and that's what we've tried to do at Long Beach City College. In fact, what's gone on here is transformational. The Long Beach City College, community college that I went to in 1966 and 67 is not the Long Beach City College that it is today. In fact, it's not even the college that it was when I started on the board in 2004. It has become a very different place, a very successful place, and it's been transformed. The state now not only focuses on getting educations for kids who want it, but also on career and workforce development so that our local economies can stay strong, and Long Beach is one of the leaders in that field. There is a new appreciation statewide for community colleges because what people understand is not only are we, and this is literally true, the largest education system in the United States. Over 2 million students in California go to community college, and that's a lot of students. Now, what you need to understand is that there's a lot of work left to do here, and I'm willing to shoulder what it is that needs to be done, because if they tell us, the Public Policy Institute of California tells us that if we don't have 1 million more college graduates by 2025, we are going to lose our standing, not only in the state, but nationally in the economy. That we won't be eligible for jobs, we won't be able to get those jobs. And so we've got that work to do, and it's going to take a lot of time to get that work and a lot of hard work. But it's also a good time for Long Beach City College. It's a good time because the recession is over now. In the last just over a year, we've been able to give our exceptional faculty almost on average 10% pay increase. We have just passed a bond, Measure LB, that will give us the money that we need to modernize this campus and the PCC campus. And so our physical plants will be up to what is required to get those 1 million jobs done by 2025. We think we're going to have a good football team this year. And by the way, we just hired Misty May, the 3-time Olympian, as our volleyball coach. But that doesn't mean that we can rest on our laurels. In fact, this board is about to embark on the most serious job that any governing board ever does. We're going to have to select a new superintendent president, because our superintendent president, who's led us to these accomplishments during the last almost 9 years now, is on his way to Sacramento to become the state chancellor for all community colleges. Let's give him a And we rely on that greatness. We rely at Long Beach City College on 90 years of educating the people in Long Beach. When we went out to see what the prospects were for passing this bond, this $850 million bond, we thought, that's a lot of money. What do you think? You couldn't talk to somebody in Long Beach that had either gone to Long Beach City College, had a family member that went to Long Beach City College, knew somebody closely that went to Long Beach City College, and they all had great experience. And that's because of the quality of the education that we deliver. But this job, hiring a new superintendent president, is going to involve this board at a level that is seldom experienced by any other government body, because education is different than city councils, state legislatures. Education requires trusteeship. It requires working together in a meaningful way to get the job done, and the biggest job always is the hiring of a superintendent. Now, we've had a couple rough patches in the last few years as a board, but I think we're over them, and yesterday we had an all-day workshop put on by the chancellor of the Yuba Community College District to talk about effective trusteeship, to talk about best practices for boards, and to talk about hiring a superintendent president or just generally leaders. And I must say, I was impressed by the board. I was impressed by how the board came together, asked good questions, seemed to want to work together, not only to do this task, but to do the governance of this body, this community college district. So I am cautiously optimistic that what we're going to be able to do in the next 6 months or so is to get ourselves an exceptional community college president based on our reputation, based on what we have here in this community. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to live. But then to go on and work together as is required by trusteeship, work together to accomplish the great things that we can and have done here at Long Beach City College. And so I am honored to be reelected, honored to be back on this board, and I want to thank all of you for support. 3.8, the oath of office to new trustee Vivian Malauulu.
She doesn't know that I'm doing this, but I'd like my mom to come up here, please. I didn't tell her because she'd be freaking out for the last, if I told her a week ago or this morning, I just wanted to bring her up. Mom? That's why I didn't tell you. This is my mother, Gloria Williams, and she's the reason I'm here. So she's going to hold my Bible. And I'd like to introduce you to Ashante Williams Norton, who will be administering my oath of office.
Good afternoon.
I want to tell you one quick story about Ashante, and again, I didn't tell her I would be doing this. In the 4th grade, she's my childhood best friend from elementary and junior high school. And in the 4th grade, she was my campaign manager when I ran for school secretary. I lost. Should have fired her then, but I kept her on. I ran against a 6th grader. His name was Daniel Cox, and he won. His campaign slogan was "Vote for the Fox," Daniel Cox, and people bought that. And I was, my middle name is Jacqueline. A lot of people called me Jackie, and I was, vote for Wacky Jackie, and that didn't go well with voters. So I learned, and by the grace of God, knock on wood, that was the last election I ever lost in the 4th grade. And Ashante and I had said that we were going to run for president later in life, and thank God we decided not to. So she has flown down from Sacramento to do this honor for me. She's the Deputy Attorney General. And I'm very proud of her. So I've asked her to be here and my mom to hold my Bible. Thank you. So, right hand.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Vivian Williams Malaulu,
I, Vivian Williams Malaulu,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will and well
and that I will and will
faithfully discharge
faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations. In typical Vivian style, she didn't give me an opportunity to say a few words on her behalf. So quickly, I just wanted to say, when Vivian called and asked that I do her this honor, I was just so privileged, and I'm so proud of all that she's accomplished. Like she mentioned, we go way back to elementary school, but I knew back then that she was going to do something amazing with her life. There's just always been something about her. I'm so excited for this new position she's embarking upon. I'm excited for you in this community because I know she's going to do great work. And I do apologize in advance that I won't be able to stay with you to celebrate, but I left my family in Lake Tahoe to be here on our vacation, so I'm rushing right back out to join them. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to say a few words. First of all, thank you everyone for being here. It really means a lot. For those of you that are familiar with this journey, it actually started in September of 2014. I was one of 13 applicants for the open appointment seat. The former trustee was elected to city council, and I was a faculty member here. And I love LBCC. I care deeply about the college. I care very much about the students. Some of those students I actually had as high school students, and some of them are family, nieces and nephews. I care tremendously about my former colleagues on the faculty. It was a privilege to educate the community with them. They work very hard, and I recognize that. And the staff here at LBCC. I was not selected in the appointment process, and after a lot of prayer and consideration and consulting with different people in the community, I decided to run, and I never thought of myself ever doing something that big. And I stand here before you as a testament that I did not win on my own. I didn't get here by myself. I had the support of my family, the support of many friends, the support of many community people who believed in me. And I pray every day that I don't let anybody down. I always want to do the right thing for the college. I want to do what's best for the community, be fair, follow the rules, and just really make you all proud. I would like to acknowledge the board, my new colleagues on the board, the administration at LBCC, the staff, the support staff, especially Jackie Hahn and the girls upstairs, Michelle and Sydney and Janae, for really helping me with the transition. Every single trustee reached out to me to offer help and assistance transitioning. It was very gracious of them. I've met with just about all of the vice presidents. I think I've got a couple of meetings we had to reschedule. They've been great. LBCC is in good hands, and I am very confident that the future is even better than everything we've done. Eloy has been a great friend to get us into this transition. I know that it's difficult for him in the position that he was in, and he was also very gracious. Everyone in this room, whether you're here for myself or Trustee Otto, you guys care. You care about Long Beach City College, and you care about what we are doing for the future in the community in terms of education and training, and that means a lot to us, and the community really values that, and the students will benefit from that. In closing, I would like to acknowledge my family. My son is sleeping in the front. He fell asleep right away. My husband, with whom I could not have done this. My children, my oldest daughter, Chloe, is actually in national championship right now. She's in one of the bracket games, so my in-laws are with her. I really miss her, wish she had been here. Tessa, who brought up the roses, my son Jordan with the cast on his foot, and then my little guy who's asleep, Boa. Also my mom, my family, my aunt is there, my cousin. My cousin was here both nights of the interview process, and he lives in Corona, and he said he would be here today. I'm very honored, Miguel, that you're here. Individually, I could be here all day naming off people. I have friends here from elementary school, junior high, and high school. I grew up in a very special place with a lot of very close ties. And I have friends here with whom I work, labor union friends from different organizations. I also have colleagues professionally from different groups. And I have my LBCC family. So it really means a lot to me. God bless you guys. Please, I've said this before, hold me accountable. I want to do the right thing, and I always want to be the voice for students and staff. The platform on which I ran is the platform on which I plan to govern. So God bless you guys. Thank you very much.
So to conclude this part of the agenda, we are going to ask those people who either signed up to speak or make presentations to the re-elected or newly elected governing board members to come up at this time. First, I would ask Assemblymember Patrick O'Donnell. Oops. Actually, he came back. Oops. Actually, he didn't come back.
He didn't realize that you called him.
Almost made it out. No, but seriously, I think, we can judge Vivian by the family she has and the company she keeps. She's a great person, certainly a family person. And through this journey, I was with you kind of more or less the beginning. I've seen you grow into the person you are today. And I just want to say you're going to do a wonderful job, and I'm very proud of you. And with that, I have a certificate on behalf of the California State Assembly recognizing you.
Yes,
Sure.
absolutely do. Do you know how you pronounce this guy's name? Dave. Dave Alcman.
Yeah.